When you install an attendance machine, you are executing a workflow integration. The hardware is just the physical touchpoint, and that touchpoint is governed by a strict rule: security and friction move in opposite directions. Guaranteeing absolute data accuracy requires a high-friction setup with significant IT involvement. Conversely, systems that are fast and frictionless to use every day will always leave minor vulnerabilities in your administration. Direct. Choosing an attendance machine successfully means defining exactly how much of that administrative friction your specific business is willing to tolerate. Let's look at the three main hardware categories. We can break down the options using this matrix. Let's start with the baseline: card-based systems. Because standard scanners are highly commoditized, setup friction is extremely low. You can deploy this hardware for hundreds of employees at a very low upfront cost. The daily operational benefit is speed. Employees tap and go in half a second. But speed creates vulnerability. The primary trade-off is buddy punching, easily scanning a card for a missing coworker. You also introduce a daily administrative chore. Employees will inevitably lose or forget their cards, and your front desk will have to manually issue replacements and update the system. Card-based systems successfully bypass steep upfront costs, but they shift that operational burden squarely on the ongoing daily management of physical credentials. If buddy punching is a deal breaker, the alternative is biometric systems. This requires heavy capital investment in sensitive localized hardware, but the return is maximum verification, tying clock-ins to unique biological features to completely eliminate time theft. But that exactness creates operational friction. Onboarding a new hire isn't as simple as handing them a plastic card. Each employee must be physically scanned and digitally mapped. Then there is the maintenance reality. To prevent daily scanning failures, these machines demand strict physical cleaning and regular software calibration. Biometrics are the only way to guarantee absolute labor compliance, but they demand significant upfront capital and rigorous hardware upkeep to maintain that promise. Finally, for modern distributed workforces, we have mobile app systems. This approach requires zero physical hardware on your walls, leveraging the smartphones employees already own. This grants massive geographic flexibility. Track attendance from construction sites, field sales routes, or remote home offices. The vulnerability is entirely technical. If a personal device's battery dies or loses cellular data, they cannot clock in. You also lack localized verification, meaning you give up the physical entry barrier. Mobile tracking trades centralized security and heavy hardware costs for ultimate, frictionless geographic freedom. Whether you choose a stack of cheap cards, a biometric facial scanner, or a fleet of smartphones, the physical terminal is useless if it cannot communicate with your backend. When the software integration is handled correctly, manual data entry drops to zero. Your HR department gets automated, compliant reports ready for immediate payroll processing. Skip the initial software compatibility check, and you'll find that even the most advanced biometric scanner is just a very expensive, disconnected paperweight. You do not buy the objectively best technology. You buy the tool that matches your operational constraints. Let's map it out. What defines your specific workforce environment? First is the high compliance operator. Think of healthcare facilities or manufacturing plants operating in a fixed location with strict labor regulations. If this is you, invest in biometric systems. You need infallible attendance logs and centralized staff for mandatory maintenance. Next is the budget-conscious optimizer. These are retail operations or education centers managing high turnover with limited upfront capital. If you fit this profile, rely on card-based systems. You get immediate, cheap deployment, provided you establish strict protocols for lost IDs. Finally, the decentralized manager. You oversee scattered field crews, delivery drivers, or a hybrid remote team without a centralized office space. For you, mobile systems are required, but your back-end HR software must handle complex API integrations and location data. Identify your primary constraint, whether it is strict compliance, tight budget, or vast geography. That constraint dictates exactly which hardware you must purchase. Ultimately, purchasing the hardware and wiring it into the wall only solves 50% of your attendance problem. The actual return on your investment won't come from the scanner itself. It comes from the operational discipline you apply to the data and the training you provide your staff to use it properly.